Welcome to the 79th episode of Sawdust Nation Podcast with your host, Nick from MPG Creations.
Yo.
Nap from Nap's Naughty Works LLC.
Hey.
And myself, Josh from North Country Woodworking. You're in for a treat. It's the last episode of the year, right after Christmas. And we'll be talking about some amazing things this episode. But before we get into all that, I'm going to toss it over to Nick for our sponsors.
Hey, right you are there, Josh. All right. So first, we want to thank PWN CNC for making this episode possible. Daniel over there has always got the goods going on in his workshop. Check him out, pwncnc.com or at pwncnc on Instagram. And if you want 10% off, use promo code Sawdust Nation. Next up, we have Totalboat. Totalboat is available on the World Wide Web at www.totalboat.com. You can also hit them up on Instagram at Totalboat and check them out for all your epoxy needs. If you want 10% off from your order to Totalboat, you're going to have to get a hold of us by sliding into our DMs, and we will provide you such promo code. And last but not least, the patrons, you guys, thank you so much. Our community has been growing steadily over the past year, and we just want to say thank you. We just, I think I said it a couple episodes ago, but we had a little something. It's in the mail for you. If you are a patron subscriber, you should be receiving it here shortly. And that's all I got for the sponsors. Don't we have a new patron, by the way?
We do. We have a new Patreon. Brent Jarvis from Clean Cut Woodworking joined us on Patreon. And welcome, and hopefully you're enjoying the content, man. Thank you again.
Enjoy the uncensored version of this episode.
So Brent, by the way, is the same guy.
Mm-hmm.
Not mistaken. He's the guy with the sleds.
Ooh, does he make those to order, or is he just making them for himself?
No, he makes them to order. There's a whole production, we'll say, over there.
That's pretty BA.
You have to check out his shop. He makes them custom made. His website is fully loaded. You can check it out. I believe it's in his bio. And not only does he make some pretty amazing stuff to sell, his shop is pretty amazing too. I was doing a live not too long ago, and he jumped on with me and he showed me some of the stuff in his shop and how he has it organized. And I'm taking notes, man, because that guy has he definitely thought through how he wanted to organize his shop, and it is just genius. So if you haven't checked him out, go ahead and check out Clean Cut Woodworking. Yeah, go give him a follow. And if you're looking for a sled, that's the guy to go.
Yeah, and that website, real quick, just because I was quick to be able to get to it, is cleancutwoodworking.com. And it is on his Instagram at cleancutwoodworking. Take a look.
Boom.
So yeah, well now we got to talk about what's going on in the shops since Christmas is over. The Christmas rush has now come to pass. Josh, what do you got going on in that single wide you got over there? That single car garage shop you got going on?
Why you gotta take a shot at his garage like that?
I'm not making fun of it. Look, last thing, we all know it's not about the size of your garage. It's about the quality of
how you use it.
Yeah, how you use it. It's all on how you use it. So, Josh, what do you got?
You're so generous with your words, man, considering your shop started like mine. Anyway, I had more to go with that. We're just going to leave it as is, though.
But the Patreons.
Anyway, it's going. I could definitely start feeling the size now as I expand in the business and whatnot. It's starting to get a little smaller. You know, jamming it full of tools and wood, and it's really, really hard sometimes to work in there. Today I was doing a little tinkering, trying to get some stuff knocked out, and I had a set of cords going left and right and stepping over them, and I'm looking down, and I'm like, oh, man, this is... If anyone else was in my shop, I wouldn't allow them to be in my shop because, like, I know how to operate in my shop because I've been doing it, but it probably looks like I'm a mad scientist, and if I could make it safer, I would, but it's just so incredibly difficult to get power to all the tools you need at one time. I had 3 routers going today, and
at the same time.
Yeah, you know what?
3 dang routers,
and then I kind of cradled the third one between them, and I just kind of did the thing.
You're making coin racks. You just slide it all down at the same time.
Yep, that's exactly.
You know, that would be genius if you built a bracket for all 3 routers, so you could just
Yo.
Game changer.
Patent done. Can't take it.
Anyway, anywho, I started working again on the USO security box with the computers. I got those back due to they wanted the keyboard and the mouse secured, so I'm making a little pull-out drawer that could be locked. Pretty easy fix. Use a router to cut out the slit, and then I'm making basically stop it nap. And then I'm making the drawers and everything to slide in and out of the new slit I made, and then I'll have a lock in there to lock it up when it's not in use. And then they'll be off to the USO once again, and hopefully this time they'll like them, and I can move on from that project. I actually Trails from Trails Custom Woodworks reached out, and he wanted a adapter for his soon-to-be Festool hose to his sander. So I 3D printed one of those, and I'll be sending that out to him here shortly. For Christmas, I made the Santa Claus cookie tray out of the walnut. Had my son pick the handles, the piece of walnut, and the side that we did the engraving on. And I will tell you, having a CO2 laser do that engraving this year made a difference. It definitely turned out, and it's going to be in our family, hopefully, for a lot of years to come. Also threw together a cutting board with my son. It came out fairly well as well. It's just cherry cutoffs and some walnut from one of the original pieces that I got when I started doing woodworking. It had a lot of figure in it. It has some knots in the cherry, but it was so dry, and I filled those in with Starbond CA glue. It turned out great. We had prime rib for dinner, and I used that to cut it up, and it was great. It was nice to have something. It was nice to be able to make something for the house that we could actually use on Christmas. I got to make 2 of those with my son. So I put my logo and his logo on the back of each one of those. That way, we could always look back and remember that project. I was going to go a little more crazy, I guess you could say, on the cutting board and do an inlay with our trees, North Country Woodworking, and then the Pulowskis in the center. I designed it. I was ready to go, and then I took my cutting board over to the Glowforge and realized it was too long. You ever have that problem where you try to put something in somewhere and it's just too long? That was me. And
never had that problem ever.
Not quite often.
Well, I might have a small garage, but anyway. Oh, look at that. I forgot to silence my phone.
You should probably silence all electronic devices before the podcast. Josh!
It was my pager from work, okay? Anyway.
Who the hell uses a pager anymore?
Yeah, so I left it, pretty simple, but you know what? It's a great cutting board. I'm happy with it. It's about like 1.5 inches, you know what I'm saying? It has a juice groove in there. It was just one of those things where, I was very proud. My son was proud. It was great. Basically, the shop has been, little projects for the house, trying to finish up old projects. We made some more stuff with the Glowforge, me and my wife. We've been taking it easy, but we've been knocking out projects left and right. I guess it's just been a pretty smooth flow. I did want to brag on my kid just a little bit on the podcast because today, while I was in the shop working, he came up and asked for cups. And I use these little Dixie cups for basically my epoxy pours and whatnot. He wanted like 10. And I'm like, why do you need 10 cups? And he always makes this, what you call soup. It's water, mud, dirt, sawdust, whatever. It keeps him busy. Yeah, it's nasty. But he wanted to sell the soup to people, to customers. So he made a whole bunch, set out his picnic table, put out the cups, filled the cups. He put out a sign he wrote himself. He's 5 years old. Wrote out a sign himself. Originally, he wanted to sell each cup for $10, and then it was $5, and we finally got him down to $1 a cup. And he made $15 today.
Wow, little entrepreneur, eh?
Yeah, thankfully we live in a
stuff.
great neighborhood. And, he asked us for money because what he wanted to do is hand people money and then they buy it and hand them the money back. So we went on Facebook and we put it out there and people showed up and they paid him for the soup. They wouldn't take the money back or they wouldn't take our money. So he made $15 to go in his piggy bank. It made me proud. Because he sees us doing all the selling and making and all that, and it's starting to rub off, I think, a little bit. So it's a proud father moment. I posted about it on my page. But that has been what's happening here in Jersey. So I'm going to toss it over to Nap and see what's going on in Texas.
Well, starting in my little part of San Antonio over here at the Knapp's Naughty Works garage. It's not been too bad. Like Nick said in the kind of right there at the beginning, the old Christmas rush thank you, God, that thing's over, because I feel like a weight has been lifted. A lot of stuff's been done. I'm starting to work on jobs that are due here in January. We got, let's see. I also bought a new planner. It's the one that has like the ending days of the month going into the new year. So I started charting stuff out so I can start planning this next week or so. Since my son is not home, and I'm able to do a lot more when he's not here. Not saying I don't love my kid, but when the grandparents say, "Hey, we'll watch him for the week until you come back up this weekend," here you go, have fun.
Punt.
I'm gonna go do my thing. But it's been pretty nice. But I will tell you this: I do miss him. It's weird not having him here because I'm so used to not having a whole lot of time. Now I have no idea what to do with all my time because I can only do so much with the machinery because it only moves as fast as it moves. But I can settle the stuff up and just sit there, and I'm like,
spend time with your wife.
She's not here. She's at work. So, like, I'm here solo. Like, I'm here every night solo from, like, 3 o'clock until 3 o'clock in the morning. That's when she comes home. So, but I did get a bunch of stuff done, though, in that extra time that I had. I finally finished Nick's signs. I told him I would hit it with some 600 on any of the rough spots before I give it to him and put a little extra coat of Odies oil because Odies oil is what we use to finish it. I want to make sure that it's fully saturated and we give him the best product. But he'll have those tomorrow. You don't know this yet, Nick, but I'm stopping over tomorrow morning if you're home. I'm going to drop these bad boys off. And
so make sure you're wearing pants in the shop for once.
No, he doesn't need pants. We're beyond that.
Okay. Now. Okay. We'll leave you to it then.
And then I made a real quick, easy sign. Dude asked me to make a sign that said "Live in the Dream." I got to try a couple things with it. It's a V-carved sign. I'm not going to put it up until the person gets it, but it's cool. Finished it with some Totalboat Halcyon, glossy flavor, if you will. And it's glossy, like shiny to the point where if it hits the light, it's going to blind you a little bit. And then I got a couple of my MTI hat boards on the horizon. People are hitting me up for more.
Now, how shiny is it?
Like shiny.
Like Josh's head shiny?
Well, Josh's head's not shiny right now, but when he does shine it up, yes. Yeah. It's like, after he finishes it with turtle wax, it's good to go.
Actually, I haven't done that in a while.
The Odies buffing compound on the old.
Odies actually is amazing because once you put it on, oil saturates in and it gives you that shine for weeks.
And you don't need aftershave because it smells glorious.
You don't need to wash your hair either because, it is waterproof once it sits in.
That's right. It would just be like a duck with the water.
Yeah, all the patrons just got a nice shot of my butt. But anyways. So, yeah. So, actually, I just went ahead and grabbed the sign because I already have it. But
whoa, back up. What you say?
Nothing. Anyways, you can see, like, the gloss on it.
Oh, that's what happens.
Yeah. Anyways. And then you got these typical things. I give these tomorrow.
Well, those are nice. I love those.
But yeah, so I got to give those to the customer tomorrow. It's funny when a customer says, "Hey, I got 8 of these things to give you," and they give me 7. And I'm like, "Hey, I was going through the text here, and I'm like, I've only got 7. You're missing one."
Oh, you mean like the words and stuff to put on it?
Yeah, I'm like, "Hey, I want to deliver these today, but I'm kind of missing a set of words because I thought it was all there. I didn't count them when they initially gave it to me. I was like, okay, they probably put it all there. Cool, whatever." No, definitely didn't. So I got to take them in tomorrow. So pretty much it's going to be a rally over to BMT and then get my hair cut, head over to Nick's, drop these other things off, take the other things to the dang post office, that sign to the post office, get it sent off.
Oh, hey, do you have it postmarked already?
I can, if you give me an address.
Postmark it and you take it to the UPS store over here, they'll mail it for you. Like the postal guy will pick it up from the UPS shop store. I didn't know that until today. I'm not trying to steal your thunder, but I was like, the post office is so far away from my house that I was like, it's so out of the way. I have to actually schedule around it. And I asked the guy at UPS store and he's like, yeah, just drop it off here, man. They pick up every day. So
that's I've definitely done that a couple of times and it's a lot easier. And actually, I've dropped off on the way to your house a couple of times because like there's a UPS like right by your HEB. So I'm like, that's where I go. So but I haven't boxed them yet. And you said you got boxes. So that's why I got to bring them to you. And then I can maybe just take them to the UPS for you on my way back home. I just don't have boxes or else I would have done it. And I want you to look at it.
No, I still have to go get them. I still have to go get the boxes from my storage unit. So
okay.
I didn't know you were bringing them over tomorrow. Not a big deal. I'll take care of it.
Or I could stop at the storage unit because I don't have a key or anything.
Don't worry about it, Nap. I'm going to wrap them in bubble wrap and all that stuff. I'll be all right. I just want to be able to. I want to just you drop them off. I'll put my maker's mark on them and we'll go. No, I'm playing.
Hey, you can put your maker's mark on them. That's fine, man. You're the one that contracted the job. But anyways.
No, I don't want to do that. I'm not stealing your thunder.
But semantics, that's right there. Just kind of an example. Like we do so much work together. It's like, yeah, do you want it? Do you want it? Who gets credit? Don't really care. Just let's get it to the customer at this point. Let's see if there's anything else. I got hit up for something really random. A friend of mine goes, hey, I will pay you X amount of dollars to help me make this tractor bed. So that, I got to CNC some shapes out and stuff, but they want to make a twin size bed that's like a tractor. And it comes with plans and all sorts of stuff, and you make it based off the cut list. I'm like, sure, I'll help you. Just know it's not going to be until like end of January because I've already got jobs. Making that red, white, and blue, if you will, or the flag cutting board. And I actually need you guys' opinion once I get through the portion that I've just finished. I did my first V-carve inlay after some tinkering. I figured some things out to put a little less stress on my bits because generally speaking, when you do V-carve inlays, you do it at a start depth of whatever the pocket is. So like, for example, if it's like 0.15 is your female side, so the part, makes the, inlay portion, then you have to do a start depth of 0.1, which makes it start 0.1 down past the plane and then go the rest of the way down. It like tricks the machine. Well, I ended up figuring out another way around it. Takes a little longer, but it's definitely worth it because it gives you a cleaner cut, saves the wear and tear on your bits, wear and tear on the machine, depending what machine you have. So I'll be maybe doing a little bit of stuff on the old Sawdust Nation podcast, IG, to show that. I've already showed a couple videos / stories, but I might do some extra stuff on that. But actually, bringing me to the point I was going to make here was, we talk about the makers community, and there's a guy, the name of Brady Nelson over at B James Design. That's on Instagram. He actually reached out. He's one of our avid listeners of the podcast. And it was a couple episodes ago, we talked about V-carve inlays with that cutting board. He literally reached out to me, not even 24 hours of the episode, and talked to me about it. And we've been just kind of chatting it up about it. Yeah, so appreciate your help, man. Obviously, you'll be hearing from me shortly because we got to see how this thing comes out the rest of the way. Hat boards, truck bed, flag. Okay, yes. What I question was, do I put a juice groove in this thing?
Yes.
I don't think so. And this is why. I want to ask you, I'm going to tell you why I don't want to.
Okay.
I'm doing an inlay with maple, okay? And that inlay is only 0.2 inches deep.
No, don't do it. Don't do a juice groove.
Okay, fair enough. That's what I thought. Because I was like,
your inlay would have to be deeper than the juice groove, and if
that's
it's
not happening.
Yeah, don't. I mean, that makes sense.
Wait,
and it's a serving board.
Have you designed the thing yet? Have you already designed the thing yet?
It's already carved and put together.
Oh, well, you should go back to the drawing board, all right?
Yeah, you screwed up, man.
Yeah, make it wider. This way the flag is on the inside, and then it's all inlaid. And then the outside, there's room for a juice groove on the border.
And this is the last time we saw Nick. Bye, Nick.
Josh, or Nap, I expect to see this. I expect to see this tomorrow.
Yeah, we expect a lot more from you, man.
Oh,
this poor guy.
You don't want to hurt you, right? Thanks for your help now. After I've already,
nobody asked for my help before.
You're supposed to know these things.
I'm supposed to
Sense
know.
it.
You're right. I got it.
Now, if anything, what I can do, and I actually haven't completely screwed up yet. So, believe it or not, I didn't do a boo-boo. So I could actually put another strip.
I don't believe you.
You shut your mouth when you're talking to me. So when I made the walnut male piece, I actually made it longer because I wanted to be able to trim the edge. So I can actually just make sure it matches up. And then I'll put an extra walnut piece on the top. And then I'll make my juice groove.
There you go.
There you go.
Okay, we worked it out. I don't know if it's going to look good. We'll figure it out when we get there. But yeah, I got a couple other jobs. Got some annual awards in February. Not worried about those yet, so I'm going to talk about those too much yet right now. But yeah, that's really kind of got what I got going on in the shop. I cleaned it again, but picked it up. I've actually been getting better about cleaning as I go. Yeah, Nick, what you got going on, man?
Quite a bit, actually. I shipped off a couple of things today via UPS. I love Shippo, by the way. So if you don't use Shippo,
You're
It's
wrong.
amazing. You just pay for your shipping on Shippo, or pay for your postage on Shippo, whether you want to ship UPS or post office, whatever. It'll let you choose. It'll tell you the prices, which are not the retail prices. You're paying like just the bare minimum price that you're going to pay. And then you just print your labels. So I did that. I shipped a couple of things off today. I shipped a cutting board and one of my memory boxes off to a customer in Dover, Delaware. Other than that, I've got another memory box that I'm mid-build. All right. I've got a shadow box. I still got to build a box behind it. I have the facade done. All this stuff has to be done by the 5th. So I can ship. No, actually, the 10th. Sorry, I have to ship it out by the 10th.
Got some time.
January. What's that?
So you got some time, and you're cooking right along.
I got some time, and then there's a couple of flags I have to carve as well on the CNC that have to be out by the 10th as well. I was digging through my closet the other day where I keep all my boxes and packing materials and stuff, and I found a box. And it was heavy, and I'm like, man, what's in here? I totally forgot that I did a job for a guy like 3 months ago. He paid me for it, and he's like, I'll have somebody come by and pick it up in February. I was like, oh, okay, because they were coming down here for work in February for a guy's like retirement. So I opened it, and I was like, oh man, I shouldn't have opened this. I should have just labeled it what it was. But anyway, I get it to get stuff and keep it out of my shop and getting dusty. I package it up and leave it in the closet. But
smart.
Yeah. I did a live the other night with Joey Steelblade from Steelblade Woodworks and another dude named Matt Wackerly from Wacky Works. It's at Wacky_works, and they were doing shop tours and Joey showing off his new OMTech Laser. I hope Joey's like get going with his laser this week as well. But Matt Wackerly does a lot of epoxy resin work. He's out of Georgia, and this guy, his shop is gorgeous. He's got his own. Well, he just demolished his finishing room or his epoxy resin room, and he's rebuilding it. He dedicated an entire room to pouring. And I don't know if you understand the importance of keeping sawdust and air and particles out of your pores, but this guy has it set up right. I looked at his shelf, right, with all of his epoxy resins and stuff like that. I was like, you're killing me, right? This thing's huge. Then he opened his drawer of pigments. I think he's sponsored by Eye Candy Pigments. But he has like 60 pigments all in a drawer. It was amazing. So I had a good time with those two guys. We went to bed. I went to bed probably at like 12:30 that evening because we were on just chatting away on a live. Other than that, though, life's been kind of good, not having to go to actual work, but just waking up and doing what I want to be doing for the rest of my life work. You know what I mean? Not saying I don't like being in the Air Force, but I do like, being on vacation and feeling like I'm on vacation. And that is for me working in the shop. Other than that, I'm exhausted.
Dude.
I'm freaking tired, man. Let me tell you something. Santa Claus this year had to wait a long time for those kids to go to bed. And then they got up early. So they're like, oh, hey, Santa was here. I'm like, yeah, Santa was here. And they're like, oh, wow, he didn't eat all his cookies. I was like, all right, go ahead and criticize Santa some more.
Santa's on freaking on diet. He's at Weight Watchers. All right,
he's drinking soy milk now.
Well, that's another thing. Like right before the kids went to bed, we were like, hey, we don't have any milk. And I was like, well, we have this oat milk. Santa might like oat milk. Yeah, Santa didn't like oat milk. Oh man, I saw saw that Santa poured that oat milk down the drain after Santa took a sip. So,
You're like, "What?"
yeah. Anyway, that's about it. Oh, we had family over and stuff like that. Oh, by the way, and this has nothing to do with woodwork or really anything. I was at the store today and I bought a bottle of wine. And I don't drink wine. I'm not a wine drinker. I don't really drink a lot of beer or anything like that anyway.
He's converting.
However, I saw this bottle that had a dime in it. It was like it was a black glass bottle, right? Real dark glass bottle with a dime inlaid, like a 10-cent piece from 1941, like the old Mercury dime or whatever it is, inlaid into the bottle. Had to buy it. Had to pick it up. I was like, that is so cool. So that's downstairs. But I think it was like Mercury Head Winery out of Napa Valley or something like that. I don't know. But anyway, that's all I got.
I do have something to add on for Christmas though, Nick.
Oh yeah, what'd you get for Christmas, bro?
So listen, Santa was gracious enough to.
They get you a CNC?
No, I really wish he would have. It's a different kind of C actually, and we're going somewhere with this. Personally delivered a book. It is a cookbook, okay, for my listeners, so don't take this the wrong way. All right, but it's 50 ways to eat or rooster.
Hold
for
it
the
up,
PG
man.
version.
Cock-a-doodle-doo.
And cockle-doodle-doo right there. He is there. And I'm going to tell you what. I was like, this has got to be a gag book. Like gags and gifts, whatever. There's no real recipes in here. No, there really is real recipes in here.
There's a recipe there.
So what you're saying is
one of which is a
all week.
salad sandwich.
I don't know how we're going to edit this.
That whole segment's got to go. The rooster salad sandwich. Okay, and if you're not a Patreon and you just heard the PG side of that, you need to be a Patreon so you can actually hear the real stuff because it's funnier when you hear it in that version. But anyways, yes, there's literally an entire book of how to eat this stuff.
Have you?
And,
is there a?
Have you ever eaten it before?
You know, it's amazing. You know,
is there a rooster meat sandwich you got over there?
Actually, there might. Oh, actually, hang on. Barbecue crock pot.
What?
Say it one more time in PG format.
I lost it. Where'd it go?
Barbecue
crock pot chicken. All right. So yeah. Anyways, there's an entire book of this stuff. I'm actually going to use it. I'm taking it for the New Year's celebration because my dad's birthday's Friday, and I'm going to take it and say, "Hey, Dad. So out of this cookbook, what side of chicken do you want?" Or in other words, other side of do you want? And then, or for the PG chicken, do you want? And
gobble gobble.
Mother.
Oh my goodness, you guys.
But hey, that was a great gift from old Santa or Saint Nicholas over there. It was great. I was actually.
I wouldn't call him a saint.
I wouldn't call him a saint either. I actually feel kind of bad though because I didn't get him anything right away, but he's got something headed to his house. This clown because he did get me something for Christmas, and I wasn't expecting it.
I gotta give a quick shout out. Old Brady Nelson just signed up for Patreon.
No, he did not.
Oh,
he did. He just did. Brady,
I literally just texted him. I was like, "Hey, man, I mentioned you on the podcast," and what?
Yeah, he's now one of our patrons.
Dude, that's awesome. Thank you, Brady Nelson. We gave you a shout out once. Here's another shout out, Brady Nelson, everyone from B. James Design.
That's right.
Boom. There we go.
Josh, did you get anything for your shop for Christmas?
Yeah, I did. Santa did me really well this year. I got
did you?
Oh yeah, I'm telling you, they knew what I wanted. Anyway, I got a M1 caliber. Basically, what it is for your miter saw goes on the fence, and you roll the piece of wood in there, and it measures the cut for you.
I've heard of this. How is it?
I haven't used it yet. I'm still reading.
Come on.
I got some really cool stuff that I have to set up and use. But man, I'm telling you what, I watched that come out on Kickstarter, and I almost bought one then. And I'm like, well, I'm not sure. I want to see how it was going to progress. You know, Santa Claus got me, and I cannot wait to put it on my fence, roll some wood underneath it, and see how much it can measure. And how
Let me know how that works out, man, because I'm definitely interested in one of those. My dad was actually looking to get me one for my birthday. That was 2 months ago. I never looked into it. Let me know how it works.
I definitely will. I'll probably do an entire story on it, or even live or whatever. But yeah, I'm super excited about that. That's one of the big things that are in the shop right now. But I also have something off to my right here, and it is a Vorx Lab resin 3D printer. There are two different types of 3D printing. If you don't know anything about 3D printing, there's the filament style, which is basically a roll of like plastic, and it goes in, gets melted, and basically layer on layer, it produces whatever you want to 3D print. And then there's another type, which basically it's a vat of resin. It goes layer by layer by shining light in a pattern, and basically dips down, shines the light, hardens a piece, goes back up, dips down, and through that process, eventually you get a very detailed piece. So the Prusa Mini that I got is more for doing parts and stuff like for the shop and that kind of side of the house. This resin printer can produce miniatures. It can produce pretty much any very detailed plastic piece that you want. I got some projects that I'm going to be producing here. I'm just waiting on some resin to come in and some other accessories to help make the process a little bit easier. It's a whole different side of the 3D printing realm, and I'm super excited to dip my toes into. So,
see what you did there.
Yeah. I got a whole bunch of other cool stuff. Those were the two highlights. My son got me some gloves for the workshop that I can reuse, and I used them already, smearing some Odies Oil over that cutting board I mentioned earlier. And then little things that are going to help me out through the year in the shop. I had a great Christmas. Those particular tools and stuff are definitely going to help me out, open a whole new realm for me. So,
dude, I'm looking forward to seeing those videos, man. Like, I know you're talking about all these cool things, and I'm like, why isn't it set up yet? Like, in my mind, I'm like, you got to set it up. Like, you just got to do it right now, like in the middle of the podcast.
Actually, you laugh, but I was actually going to do the podcast from the shop so I could start playing with some of those toys in there. Yeah,
I've been smart.
Well, it's a little bit a mess right now. So unlike Nap, I haven't really been able to clean it. I'm gonna pull some time away, hopefully, probably tomorrow at this point, and do that. But
Nap, did you get anything for the shop for Christmas or no?
No. So
he's like annoyed. No,
I'm not really
annoyed. IOU.
Because no, the wife did. It is practically an IOU because she was like, "Listen, I really didn't know what you wanted. You have a lot of stuff in the shop right now, and I'm just not sure exactly what you want, and I honestly don't know what I want or need at this very moment in time." She pretty much said, IOU for anything I want, which I told her, you better be careful because there's some things I want that are like 5 figures. So careful what you say. But no, I'll probably get some. I'm looking at maybe some camera equipment, if not some a laptop or something for the shop, because I would like to take the podcast into the shop one of these days and actually shoot only from my shop. Just so I can actually work and, for the Patreons that are watching, this portion or seeing this portion, they'll be able to see what's going on, actually in my shop. Because, I only get stories and posts and stuff, but I think it'd be cool to be like Joey Steelblade or, some of these other guys that I see with their, their lives on Instagram, and they're just showing out what's going on, and they're out in their shops and Laguna or whatever's going on in the background. It's pretty awesome. So I kind of want to get on that level of production. So maybe some camera stuff maybe is what I'll ask her for my IOU Christmas. But I did get her a computer though, so I really got myself a computer, but I got her a computer.
I got you. I see how that goes.
Got the house, house a gift.
Yeah, no, realistically though, that's her computer. She doesn't ask for a whole lot of stuff, and when she asked for a laptop, I was like, all right, I'll get you a laptop.
Cool.
But one thing I will say, because this is the New Year's, our last one before the New Year's, special announcement about Naps and Underworks LLC. With all the jobs that I've got completing up until the 31st of December, my shop is completely paid for. And I have no one to thank except for all the people that have supported Naps Naughty Works over this past year. It's been a ride, and I'm kind of surprised I'm at where I'm at. I'm pretty happy.
Let me know when you're a publicly traded company.
But it's pretty awesome.
Well,
Napcoin.
Napcoin. Napcoin Litecoin or whatever. So I got my wife this year a big old TV. That was like the thing that she wanted. She's been complaining about the TV because the TV we had was free, so I really couldn't be like, wow, we already paid for this one. No, it was free, and it's a piece. By the way, it weighs about 1,000 pounds.
It's one of them.
It's a big TV, 1,000 pounds.
No, and you said complaining, but really what I like to call that, so I don't get smacked in the back of the head, is tactfully asked for a new TV.
So yeah,
called told.
I ordered it, and I went to pick it up, and I couldn't do it by myself. I had to have the kids with me. So I was like, you all are sworn to secrecy. All right. You cannot tell mom about that lasted 12 hours. And my youngest was like, I'm not supposed to tell you where we went, but we got you a TV. I was like, son of a gun. So anyway, that happened. And, my wife, she got me probably one of the most cherished gifts I'll ever get, right? She knows I do this podcast, and she knows I'm always in the garage, and she knows I'm always listening to the Sawdust Nation podcast, right? So what she did was she went on the internet.
Those headphones look nice.
And she ripped every episode of a podcast and put it on, I guess, MP3s or whatever. But it's like a box set of another Woodshop podcast. I have been listening to... No, I'm playing.
Oh, it's like, you mother...
Josh is unamused. No, honestly, she didn't get me that. But I have been listening to AWP a lot. Anyway, no, I got some cool headphones.
I was like, yeah, those headphones looked brand new, actually. Once you said a gift, I was like, those headphones look pretty nice.
These are my new headphones. They're the
I was looking at those ones.
No, these ones have been on my head for months now.
I haven't noticed. My powers of observation are obviously not very good.
Anyway, Josh is still salty.
No, I like AWP. I listen to them as well. I didn't know where that was going, and when you said it just took me for a loop there.
Oh my gosh!
I thought she bought you a flag.
No, she bought me a Makers Community Project flag.
Talk about Makers Community Project. I got myself a hat.
Yeah, well, you need one. The head gets cold up there in the north.
It does.
Anyway, no, I just got headphones, which is great because those like my. By the way, did you know that AirPods die after so many charges?
No.
Yeah, because it's Apple.
Yeah, well, I don't know how Apple does things, but their built-in obsolescence of these AirPods, they last for about maybe 2 years and then they're done. You can only charge them and they'll last like 10 minutes and that's it. So I'm assuming that's like the lithium battery technology that they use or whatever. But these Skull Candy ones that I got, less expensive, more comfortable in the ears. I could put my what do you call it? Headphones over top of them, or my ear protection over top of them. I have been using so this is like, here's another thing though. So I have been using my IsoTunes Pro in the shop. And the problem I ran into them is when they die, I only have one set. When they die, I don't have anything else to put on. So I'm like, well, I guess I'm not listening to anything.
It's awkward, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so it's a great compliment to my IsoTunes Pro. Yeah, and I got some sleepers. I'm wearing these sleepers right now.
Ooh.
That's right. But other than that, yeah, it was a good Christmas. Great Christmas. So we got some questions, right?
Yeah. We do.
First question. I'm not going to play the audio, but basically, Joey from Joey Steelblade asks Nap directly, did you get the CNC from the last episode? He's dying to know.
I did not get the CNC from last episode.
Yeah.
No, there's no yet to that. I'm not getting a new one until I move. I'm sticking to that. I have to.
Lame.
But I will say, after seeing that CNC and then just wondering, where to put my one that I have now and how I'm going to fit another CNC, I'm already starting to chart out the shop layout for whatever shop I get. Because regardless of where I'm at, that's it. I'm staying there. I'm not going anywhere else.
Texas bound, huh?
Probably. I'm hoping so.
Well, sorry, Joey. Not that interesting. Nap, you disappoint, man. We are hoping for another CNC.
Listen,
it's all good.
Nick can only push me so far, okay?
Nick's already thinking of ways. See that smile? He's coming up with a plan.
So far, I'm in the nap for like $8,000.
Yeah. They're
Wow,
about
that sounds dirty.
8,500, something like that. $8,000, something.
You're expensive, man. Anyway, moving on.
I'm an expensive friend to have.
We have another question from Brush Fires of Freedom 1776. He writes in, he says he has another question for the podcast. About 4 or 5 episodes ago, we were talking about forums, and he wants to know what a good woodworking forum or two to join would be on Facebook group. Thanks in advance, Robert Lee.
Where's Robert Lee from?
From a place
called France,
far away,
where the naked ladies dance.
Texas, Waller, Texas.
Waller, Texas.
Muller?
Right?
Is that far away?
I think it's a couple hours. I think there's
a Dallas Fort Worth woodworking Facebook group. There's a San Antonio woodworking Facebook group, and there's I think just a Texas. Let me look. I'm a member of all three. Sometimes Texas Woodworkers. That's one of the groups you can join. Depending on your niche or whatever you make specifically, there are different groups for cutting board people, end grade cutting board people. There's X-Carve users, CNC groups. There's whatever tool you're using, you can find a Facebook group for it, as well as your local area. So I would I don't know about your particular small town local area, but find the next biggest city or even search your small town. There might be a Facebook group. Heck, I created a Facebook group for woodworkers in my subdivision, and it's got about 15 to 20 people in it right now. So, I mean, anywhere you can have an impact by just making a group yourself and recommending your friends. So
around here, there's a couple, small woodworking shops. There's woodworking for beginners. There's woodworking tools and lumber only, and trade in the tri-state area here. There's a whole bunch. Nick hit it on the ball.
Yeah, one tip I have about joining those groups: make sure you read what they actually talk about. This is for everyone listening, because I definitely joined a woodworkers group that was we'll call your purists, and I said something about a power tool, and they're like, "Well, we don't talk about the devil's tools in here." But I was like, "What are we talking about here?" And I went back and looked at the info about the page. I was like, "And I'm in the wrong group. Leave." Because literally it was all about traditional hand tools. Mind you, I want to get into, being able to do stuff with hand tools, but I'm predominantly a machine, user. So probably not the group for me. They got a little upset when I started talking about CNCs and stuff. So yeah, make sure you know.
Yeah, read the description, know what you're joining.
So yeah, I didn't think that was an actual thing until, I found that out the hard way.
Okay, well, I think that answers that question. Let's move on to the voicemail from Victor from Wim Designs.
Oh, Victor.
And here we go.
Wim Designs here. I hope everybody had a great Christmas, and I know you guys have New Year's coming up, so I hope everybody has a great time. I have a quick question this week. I have a project that's coming up, a V-carve project, a sign, and I want to go ahead and fill that sign in with epoxy. I'm wondering, does anybody know if there is a fluorescent epoxy, something that you'd be able to see at night? I don't know if they make it. I haven't really researched it, but if anybody has any information, I'd appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
All right. Thanks for the question, Victor. We've got some answers for you. Black Diamond Pigments, they make glow in the dark pigment powder. All you have to do is just scoop it out of its container and put it into your epoxy when you're mixing it, and it becomes part of the epoxy, right? So they have a few different colors. As far as I can tell, they have lemon lime, which is like a green, I'm assuming, since I'm colorblind. They have blue green. They have sky blue. Yeah, so check them out, blackdiamondpigments.com. No, we are not affiliated with Black Diamond Pigments. However, if you don't like Black Diamond Pigments, which I like them because I've been using them for a while, but if you don't like them, you can always Google different brands and see if they have glow in the darks. I don't know if what is it, eye candy?
Yep, eye candy.
I don't know if they have glow-in-the-dark pigments. I'm sure I could find out. I think that solves that.
Yeah, that answers all of our questions. We can go ahead and dive into the next topic. Nick, go ahead and lead us in the next topic, man. What do we got?
Yeah, so we were just wondering to ourselves where we would like this podcast to go in the future. Since it is the end of the year, we have been reflecting upon how far we've come as a podcast from literally just two guys sitting in their house, AJ and Josh, going for it, right? Creating a podcast, to them expanding to to three co-hosts, and then pulling in sponsors, getting guests, all that. We want to talk about where we would like to see this podcast go in the next year. Now that said, we're going to talk about it here, but by all means, if you have any suggestions or if you have anything you would love to see, hear, or have us do on camera for money, no, I'm playing.
I won't do that.
Just shoot us an email or a DM with your idea. Or you know what? Even if you want to create an Instagram video and tag us in it so we can see what you have to say, it doesn't matter. We're open. We're all ears. We would love to grow and continue growing as this threesome. So anyway, what do you say there, Josh? Josh is without words, though. He's speechless. So Nap, where would you like to see this podcast?
I will say, coming on to the podcast, halfway through this venture, a little after halfway. I think I came on, I want to say around episode 56 or 57. I want to say.
But who's counting?
Who's counting, right? But I mean, so I've only been here for half the adventure. I mean, we're on episode 79 right now, right?
Yep, 79.
Yeah, 79. That's crazy because that's a lot of episodes already, and we're coming into this new year. I've seen us as a group go from not having affiliates and not having major sponsors and all this stuff. Like I'd say we've been killing it, honestly, as far as growth is concerned. But I definitely want to see maybe more how-tos, maybe some more product testing and some things, expanding our knowledge and helping our listener base expand their knowledge. I mean, they've asked us plenty of questions of, for stuff we've been able to give them decent insight to, but again, we're not experts. We're just garage shop, owners that are continuously growing ourselves. So I think I would like to probably start venturing into some things maybe that we're not comfortable with. Because I know Nick, he's been going into acrylics and stuff, and acrylics wasn't even in his wheelhouse up until maybe a couple months ago, and now you see him putting out this awesome stuff with the acrylic. I've been trying new things. I mean, heck, I just did my first V-carve inlay. I was a little nervous about it. A lot of growing pains, if you will. But yeah, as far as the podcast is concerned, I just want to see us grow as far as information, knowledge base. I want to give our listeners as much information as we can and answer as many questions as we can. And if not having the answers, knowing people, I think, to point them in the right direction.
Good answer. Nick, let's hear you, man.
Well, as you know, this podcast can not survive without people listening to it. I mean, it could. We could just be like three dudes just talking to dead air, but
that would suck.
It's you guys, the interaction with everybody else who's listening, that keeps us going, and the connections, the networking, and the knowledge sharing that we have been we've become accustomed to now. Ever since like endorsing, or I don't want to say endorsing because that sounds official, but adopting the Makers Community Project like motto, we really have seen an uptick in interactions with people who are listening, and our work has gotten better. I'm sure your work's gotten better. If you've asked any of us for advice or questions, obviously if we don't know something, we'll point you in the right direction. But this is where I'm going with this. I would like to see our listener base expand. I would like to see more people get involved. Not necessarily, they don't have to like write in every week or whatnot, but as long as the awareness of the podcast, I'd like to see more people downloading it and at least giving it a shot. So with that being said, this new year coming up, I'm going to go ahead and aggressively pursue getting new fresh blood, I guess you could say, into the mix. So this way we're not always talking about the same thing. Which we try to make a variety of things, right? We try to do CNC, laser. We talk about 3D printing. We talk about traditional, but there's so many more mediums that we can use. Like Nap just said, I just touched an acrylic like 2 months ago, and now I'm doing it. So, let's make it happen, Captain. Let's spread the word, Bird. How about you, Josh?
Well, you guys are hitting it right on the head. It has amazed me the growth the podcast has, gone through since we started. Steady growth has been always, what we pursued. The sponsors and everything was always the dream. And now we're starting to touch base with that. So it's time to look a little further out and kind of see where we want to go with the podcast. And you guys brought up some amazing points. I think we can definitely, bring on some makers that are a little beyond us, that are testing the boundaries, and then help us test the boundaries in our listeners. I think we should be going out aggressively looking for those that know maybe not CNC laser, but like acrylic usage and how to put those together to expand Nick's base knowledge and ours and our listeners. Even hand tools. I think all three of us can learn more about the hand tools. I know I don't know nearly enough. I really liked when we invited Eric from Red Raven on, and he was talking about
getting lathed. That's what he was talking about.
Yeah, getting lathed. Yep. No, wood turning. He was able to talk about something that, well, personally, I've never done. Nap, you've done a little bit, and then Nick has had very low experience with. So that kind of allowed him to shine. You know what I'm saying? Because we haven't had experience. We're learning from what he's saying. We're kind of seeing, how he grew. But the biggest thing I want to see this podcast do is have a get together. I want a meet and greet. I want the three of us in the same location and as many listeners as we can get in the same location just to have a good time, talk about wood, talk about our shops, maybe have a giveaway there, just show of force, because we've preached from the very beginning that this podcast is about the community. Pretty much everything we get goes right back into it. We don't take any cut from the podcast. We're all about giving back. That's why we do the giveaways. That's why we do pretty much everything we do.
He said
anyway,
doo-doo.
That's what matters. And if we can give back to the community by doing, a huge get together and just be able to see faces behind the names and not behind the screen, I think that's important. And at this day and time, it's getting increasingly hard to do stuff like that. But I'm pretty sure within the next year, we should be able to set that up and do that. Yeah, that's where I'm going to leave that, because I'm really hoping that our listeners can write in and just give us what they want to see as well. Because we're three guys, three heads that we talk a lot. We know where we want to go, but what counts is where you guys want us to go as well. So your feedback is essential to help us grow the way we should be growing. Yeah, I think we have a lot of potential, and we just are getting started. So,
all right. So, all right, everybody, to hear from you regarding the suggestions for where you want to see the podcast go. But right now, we're going to talk about, you guessed it, our sponsors. Daniel over at PWN CNC is killing the game with those outstanding VFDs, spindles, all that jazz. He's got the Maglock dust hose connectors and all. Check him out, pwncnc.com. You will not be disappointed, I guarantee. So PWN CNC on Instagram, and for 10% off, use promo code Sawdust Nation. Totalboat, thank you for your support the past year and a half. You guys have been absolutely amazing. Check them out if you're looking to get some epoxy, and if you want to get it on the low with a 10% off promo, give us a shout out on Instagram, slide into our DMs, and we'll hook you up with 10% off promo code to totalboat.com. And last but not least, the patrons again. Thanks. I want to give you another shout out. Thank you so much. You should be seeing something in the mail if you've been supporting us. That being said, Nap.
Yeah, so if you've been listening to us for the past however long you've been listening to us, and you've been listening to us on the Apple Podcast, which seems to be where a lot of our listeners are listening to us from, and we're always looking for that feedback, give us 5 stars. and drop us a line as to why maybe you gave us 5 stars. But if you don't give us 5 stars, tell us why. Because if you don't tell us why, we can't fix or give you that content that you deserve that we give to you every week. Other than that, that's what I got on the Apple Podcast, Josh.
And just to give you guys some perspective, I'm looking at some of our numbers. 25% of all of our episodes have been listened to on Apple Podcasts. That's one of the reasons we hit on it, because we're trying to make sure that you guys have a voice in the podcast. With that, you can always get a hold of us to give us feedback or ask questions by our Instagram accounts. Sawdust Nation Podcast on Instagram is where you can reach all 3 of us. Now, be careful. You never know who you're going to get, so it could be interesting. And with that, you have Nick from MPG Creations. Then you can slide over into Naps DM and Naps Naughty Works LLC on Instagram.
It's naughty in there.
Oh, you got to be careful. You might get tied up. And then myself, Josh from North Country Woodworking on Instagram. And then, of course, we got our email where you can send pictures or whatever you want. And we like seeing what you guys are working on, what you have to say. And you can do that by writing sawdustnationpodcast@gmail.com. The more feedback, the better. We're doing this, for the community. So the community needs a voice as well. Be that voice. Reach out. Nap.
Man, so final words
of the year.
Yeah, I know. Like, this was a tough one. He's like, come up with your New Year's resolution. I'm like, oh, God. No, realistically, something that I kind of figured out maybe halfway through the year with, let's say, personal, as far as like career and stuff like that, just to make sure I have this work life. And someone said this to us, and it made more sense than a balance, but more of a harmonization. Like, I'm going to have to realize that I'm going to have to give more time to certain areas. So make sure that I'm giving time to my family, because I know there was a time there where I was in the shop or at work and I wasn't spending a whole lot of time with the family. So be more cognizant of when I need to give them the time that they deserve, because, they're my family. They're not going anywhere. But this stuff will eventually. Like, the Air Force isn't going to be here forever. So eventually that's going to go, and I need to make sure I still have a relationship with my family. But the business, also, I want to like include them in the business. So I'm actually going to be, the wife actually asked if she could help with the business stuff, which is kind of interesting. So I'm going to start bringing her into the fold and start, I don't know, giving her something to do, just because she wants to be a part of it, since this is like a big part of our livelihoods these days. And as far as the shop's concerned, I don't know. I can't really grow much more because I ain't got a whole lot of room. But I definitely, wherever I move next, hopefully I can get a bigger shop.
He doesn't have enough room. He's bulging right now.
Well, Nab, I think you nailed it earlier. Grow in knowledge, grow in skill.
You should bulge in knowledge.
And skill.
Throb in skill, bulge in knowledge.
But actually,
Reach
that's
new places.
Actually a good way to. That's a good way to, I guess, wrap my New Year's resolution up. I guess is in the next 5 months that I have left here, learn as much as I can with what I have, because eventually I'm gonna acquire new equipment that I don't know how to use. Maybe a 3D printer, who knows? Maybe a fiber laser. That's also on the docket
From OMTech through our affiliate link.
It's going to be from OMTech,
which is in our link tree, by the way. Just
it is in our link tree. Yep. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. The biggest takeaway is just making sure I spend enough time with my family, learning and growing as I go this year. Now that I'm fully established, I guess you can say.
Nice,
Nick.
All right, so I think it's important that I step up in my professionalism game. So starting this new year, I'm cutting out the old sex jokes, okay?
Yeah, okay.
Are you being serious?
That's my New Year's resolution. No more dirty jokes, okay? So
You can see in his face, he's about to make one.
All right. Josh, what's your New Year's resolution?
Okay, man, I really hope that you can power through that. Mine, I want to get my LLC. I want to get established. I want to get out there so I can get bigger contracts. And I want to figure out Etsy a little bit more. I've made a total of 7 sales since I set that up. It's happening. It's slow, but it's happening. Just finding ways to, bring people to the site and then order through there. I want to be able to be accessed, no matter where anyone is. It's easier to get local business, but it is harder to get business from, farther away and having to do shipping and stuff like that. This year has been definitely an interesting year for shipping and establishing myself and what kind of woodworking I want to do. And I think I'm starting to narrow down on that, but I need more refinement. And then knowledge. You can never know enough. You can never be too skilled in the workshop. So, refinement, knowledge, and skill are mine. With that, I hope that everyone had a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and was able to turn on Sawdust Nation during those times so we can go ahead and whisper in your ear while you're opening up your packages, playing with your new toys in your living room, working in the workshop, driving in the car. And I really do hope, before the new year comes, you've been able to get out there to make sawdust. And with that, Sawdust Nation, ow!
All right.
Nailed it.
Hey, did you guys know the only way to make a pool table laugh is to tickle its balls?
And broke.
Oops. I guess I'll start again tomorrow.
It's not the new year. You got plenty of time.